Karen's sneer could curdle milk from a mile away. She stood there, arms crossed, her floral muumuu straining against her frame, as if the Tesla Model X in front of her had personally insulted her ancestors. The parking lot of Willow Creek's upscale grocery store buzzed with late-afternoon shoppers. But all eyes were on her, the self-appointed queen of the HOA, about to unleash hell over a car she didn't own. It started innocently enough. I'd parked my Tesla Model X in the lot, gleaming under the golden hour light, its falcon-winged doors drawing a few curious glances. I was just grabbing a coffee from the cafe inside when I heard her voice shrill, like a kettle left too long on the stove berating someone about proper parking etiquette. I stepped outside, reusable cup in hand, to find Karen circling my car like a vulture, her face twisted in disgust. This monstrosity is taking up 2 spaces, she bellowed, though the Tesla was perfectly centered within the lines. Excuse me, I said, keeping my tone calm. That's my car, and it's parked correctly. Karen whipped around, her eyes narrowing as if I'd just challenged her to a duel. Correctly, she spat. This electric nonsense is an eyesore. You tech bros think you can just flaunt your toys and ruin our neighborhood's aesthetic. The irony wasn't lost on Meher. Faded muumuu and oversized sunglasses weren't exactly high fashion. But I held my tongue. The crowd began to gather, a loose semicircle of shoppers clutching reusable bags and iced lattes. Karen thrived on the attention, her voice growing louder. I'm the HOA president, she declared, jabbing a finger at me. I make the rules around here, and I say this car doesn't belong. I raised an eyebrow. This is a public parking lot, Karen. The HOA doesn't own it. Her face reddened, and I could almost see the steam rising from her ears. That's when things escalated. She stormed over to her beat-up minivan, parked a few spaces away, and yanked the door open. For a moment, I thought she was leaving wishful thinking. Instead, she reversed her van with a screech, blocking my Tesla in, the bumper inches from mine. You're not going anywhere until you apologize for disrespecting me, she shouted, slamming her door and planting herself in front of my car like a human barricade. A teenager nearby pulled out his phone, recording the spectacle, while an elderly woman muttered, "Oh, dear, not again." I tried reasoning. Karen, move your van. You're causing a scene. But reason was a foreign language to her. She crossed her arms, smirking. Make me. The crowd murmured, some shaking their heads, others whispering about that HOA lady. I could feel my patience fraying, but I wasn't about to give her the satisfaction of a shouting match. Instead, I pulled out my phone and dialed the non-emergency police line. Yeah. Hi, I said, loud enough for her to hear. I've got someone blocking my car and threatening me in the Willow Creek lot. Karen's smirk faltered, but she doubled down, fishing a key from her purse. You think you're so smart with your fancy car? She hissed, dragging the key across the Tesla's hood with a sickening screech. The crowd gasped. The teenager's phone was still rolling, capturing every second. My stomach dropped as the silver paint curled under her key, but I kept my cool. You're on camera, Karen, I said quietly. That's vandalism. She froze, the key still in her hand, as if realizing too late that her tantrum had consequences. The elderly woman in the crowd stepped forward, her voice trembling but firm. Young lady, you've gone too far. That's someone's property. Karen's eyes darted to the growing crowd, then back to me, her bravado crumbling. Two didn't mean, she stammered. But the damage was done. Within 10 minutes, a police cruiser rolled into the lot. 2 officers stepped out, one taking statements from me and the witnesses, the other examining the deep scratch on my Tesla's hood. Karen tried to spin a story about how I'd provoked her, but the teenager's video told the truth. The officer watched the footage, his expression hardening. "Ma'am, you're looking at a vandalism charge and possibly public disturbance," he said, pulling out his notepad. Karen's face went pale, her hands trembling as she clutched her purse. "This is a misunderstanding," she protested, but the crowd wasn't buying it. As the officers escorted her to their cruiser for questioning, Karen's bravado melted into something pathetic. She glanced back at me, her eyes pleading for a way out. But I just shook my head. The teenager, still filming, muttered, "Karma's real." The elderly woman patted my arm. "Don't let people like her get to you, dear. She's been bullying this town for years." While the officers dealt with Karen, I surveyed the damage to my Tesla. The scratch was ugly, a jagged scar across the hood, but it was just paint and metal. What stung more was the principal Karen's entitlement, her belief that she could control everyone and everything, had finally caught up with her. I overheard one officer mention that the HOA had received multiple complaints about her over the years, from harassing neighbors over lawn ornaments to fining people for unapproved mailbox colors. This wasn't her first meltdown, but it might be her last as president. The crowd began to disperse, some offering sympathetic nods, others whispering about the crazy HOA lady finally getting what she deserved. The teenager uploaded his video to X, and by the time I got home, it had already gone viral, racking up thousands of views and comments like, "Justice for the Tesla," and "Karen's reign is over." I couldn't help but smile, though I felt a pang of pity for her. Karen wasn't evil, just a woman so wrapped up in her own power trip that she'd forgotten how to be human. The next day, I got a call from the police. Karen had been formally charged with vandalism and was facing a fine and community service. The HOA board, embarrassed by the public spectacle, was already discussing her removal. My Tesla's repair would be covered by her insurance, but the real cost was to her reputation. Willow Creek was a small town, and word spread fast. By evening, Karen's meltdown was the talk of every coffee shop and group chat. I drove back to the parking lot a week later, my Tesla's hood freshly repainted. The lamppost still had that handwritten sign, now faded but still legible: "Karen's meltdown, vandalism caught on camera." Someone had added a sticky note beneath it: "Don't mess with Tesla guy." I laughed, snapping a photo before heading inside for my coffee. The lot was quieter now. No sign of Karen or her minivan. For the first time in years, Willow Creek felt a little lighter, like a bully had finally been put in her place. Karen's story didn't end with her losing the HOA presidency. She lost something bigger. She'd spent years building a throne out of petty rules and intimidation, only to watch it crumble in a single, reckless moment. Her downfall wasn't just the vandalism charge or the viral video. It was the realization that her power was an illusion, one the town had finally seen through. And as I sipped my coffee, watching the sunset paint the parking lot gold, I realized something too. Sometimes, the best way to fight a Karen is to let her destroy herself.